So hi, welcome to the Nice Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Jack DeNicola.
and we're gonna ask him some questions today. I'm gonna start. So, what inspired you to start making music?
So I would say probably when I was a little kid, I was about 9 years old, and my father took me to see my first concert, which happened to be Roger Waters. He was touring Pink Floyd's The Wall, which
Uh,
if you know anything about that, it's definitely just a very lengthy musical story of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll and all that. So like, why not bring a 9-year-old to go see that?
of course.
Exactly, yeah.
And I remember the concert started. I was so scared, like just very loud,
Yeah.
very scary. But then once I started like paying attention and getting into it, I really fell in love with just the stage presence that they all had and everything. And I really just loved it. And at that point, I was already singing, like I was in choir as a little kid and everything. So it kind of just made me want to be a rock star, and I kind of just held on to that dream up until now. And I mean, that's what I'm trying to pursue. So
All
trying to
right.
make my childhood dreams come true. So
That's awesome.
I love it.
Great. I can't believe 9. That's
yeah,
terrifying. As you said, like, I can't even imagine.
yeah. As soon as the concert started, it was like it was too much, too much
Yeah.
at once.
Sensory overload. Jesus. All right. So, congratulations on your newest release, Act 1, Doomsday. How do you feel the response to it so far?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I've gotten a lot of family loves it. A lot of my friends, they've been waiting for it.
Hmm.
They've been hearing all like the leaks and just like the unreleased stuff I've been showing them. So they've been waiting a while for this. So this is definitely something for a lot of people from high school too that knew me when I started making music back in my senior year and everything. So this is a lot just for my friends and family
Hmm.
to see what I'm up to now. It's nice that I have this to present to people. And
Yeah.
the perception's been well from around the country and everything. It's been good. I'm just, keep pushing,
Hmm.
keep marketing, and see where else we could take this.
Hell yeah.
Solid.
So you got a handful of features on this record. I'm not gonna list them all because there's a bunch. How did those all come about?
Most of them came about, just being up in Boston. I go to school up around there, and I met some pretty wonderful people just from around the area. And I work with my producers Bobby and Soren up in their studio, and people coming in and out of the studio all the time. You meet new people, and we all love music, so
Hmm.
we all got something in common a little bit. So we
Yeah.
just sometimes a song just gets made, whether it's myself, like just me by myself, or someone else is in the room. They're like, oh, I could put a verse on this, or I could put a chorus on this.
Yeah.
Like it all just happens kind of naturally, like free flowing. There's no like we didn't plan. Like I didn't plan to have any of these people on the album. It was
Yeah.
more just like it kind of just happened, and that's the beautiful thing about music is things can just happen, and most of the time they come out pretty good, and it's fun.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've gotten that kind of answer. Sometimes it's like, we know we wanted a feature, but we didn't know who it was going to be. But it's never been like, oh, I didn't actually intend on
Spur
any
of the
features.
moment.
It was just like they were there, and we just fucking
Exactly.
put a verse on it. And,
It's just
So, yeah.
being in the studio is a vibe, and if everyone's feeling the vibe of a certain beat or a certain song, it only calls for better music.
Yep.
For sure. So, is there any meaning behind the album name or cover art? Will there be multiple acts, or is it just a one-time thing? What's going on over there?
I won't give too much away because I'm still
Hmm.
trying to figure it out myself, but there definitely
Oh,
will
okay,
be.
that's fair. That's fair. All right.
No. There definitely will be. There will be an act two.
Okay.
I'll say that for now. Not gonna go past that for now, but there will be an act two.
Hmm.
Not too sure when, but in terms of the name and everything, Doomsday is kind of just something I used as a name, almost to just kind of describe like how everything kind of fell apart and started to kind of crash down once the pandemic started and everything. And
Hmm.
that's honestly when I started writing the project because we all got sent home from school and everything, and everyone got put in their houses and on lockdown and quarantine. And actually, back in March 2020, I tested positive, me and my family, like as soon as I got back. It must have been like a couple days after the national emergency was made by the president. So I mean, ever since then, I've just kind of used Doomsday as a way to describe like how I felt that day, like the last day, like packing up all my stuff and leaving, and just I kind of just used that and all my emotions from like quarantine and everything that I was feeling, and tried to put it into music, and try to tell a cautionary tale. Like, I definitely like the character in this. Like, I like to think that the man in the cover art, his name is Moon to me. I call
Hmm.
him by Moon, and that's like my main character in this story. And it's pretty much just an extension and an exaggeration of my like emotions and just the stuff I've been going through. And I'm just trying to tell my side of the story through all this. I know everyone has been struggling in some way, shape, or form through all this, so I hope that my music can shine a little light on that, and also um, cause others to want to share their stories as well through these times. Yeah.
Definitely. Wait, so you mentioned that this album's kind of like a story of what you went through, but exaggerated, but still a story that you wanted to tell. Will Act Two be a continuation of it, or will it be its own thing?
It will definitely be a continuation of the story that I've tried to craft so far with this.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
very
Thank
much
you.
in the very much in the sense of like The Wall. Like The Wall was a rock opera, and there used to be these rock operas that were like stories within the music and everything.
Hmm.
And I always loved that, and I don't really see that anymore.
Yeah.
So I want to bring something to the table, like almost like a pop opera, or like I don't like putting myself in like any genre category, but just like I kind of want to bring that back a little bit, like having a story behind the music to make it more than just music, make it more of an experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can tell you don't put yourself in a genre category because the pitch email we got had like 3 or 4 genres listed. And I was like,
Exactly.
oh my
Oof.
God, everything except country and heavy metal.
God bless.
Uh, so can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah, so like I said, I started writing it just throughout quarantine, kind of just as soon as that started, because there was nothing really else to do, so why not try to get better. And my producers, they were sending me beats and instrumentals over the summer, and I would write to them, and I kind of just waited for the most part until I got back to school in the fall to record everything. And my writing process, it's like I could sit on a song for days, like weeks, months. I could get a song done in a night. Like, it all just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, what type of emotion I'm feeling, and how like motivated I am to get something done too. Because sometimes I'd be in my feelings. Everyone's in their feelings sometimes, and they don't feel
Yeah.
like doing anything. But it's when you get to a point where you could step away from that and look at it, like look back at it, and then be able to write about it. For me, is I find it hard to write a lot of the time in the heat of the moment or the heat of my emotion. I feel like I need to remove myself sometimes first to be able to look back on it and see how I can explain that, through music, and why that's even important to bring up and everything. So that goes along with the whole album, and it just being like a cautionary tale of myself and anybody else that's been going through some stuff through this time.
Yeah.
Hmm. Wait, so you mentioned that you did music a little bit when you were in your senior year of high school. When you were in college, did you kind of drop off of music and then quarantine brought you back, or were you doing it throughout college as well?
No, I was doing it throughout college because I go to a music school, so
Oh,
I was
yeah.
definitely still keeping up on my like my musical chops and everything.
Hmm.
I started releasing my own songs and everything during my senior year, and not that like there are some songs that I kept on like my artist page and stuff that I do
Hmm.
genuinely love and I think will always have a special place in my heart. But I felt like I was starting to become a little less genuine with my writing, and I felt
Yeah.
like I needed to live a little more and
Hmm.
experience some more stuff before I really tried to, find a real sound and find a real vision for my music. And that took a little while, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And when I got put in a position where I couldn't really leave my house and I was back in my parents' house after not even having a full year out of it, it was like, all right, like it's time to, really hone in on my craft and try to make something of myself. So that's all
Hmm.
I was trying to do, just get better every day, kind
Yeah.
of everything in the writing process and all that. So that's what I'm just trying to continue to do and moving forward and everything. I mean, I love the album. I was definitely ready to get it out though, and move
Uh-huh.
on to some new stuff that I've been working on, and I'm very excited for what's to come for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, as you should be. So I want you to pick your favorite lyric off of this album and tell us the meaning behind it.
Ah, it
Hmm.
would. That's funny. I mean, lyrically, my favorite song is probably the first song, the prelude, just
Okay.
because that was the first song I wrote for the album, and it definitely means a lot to me personally. And I would probably say the first lyric from it, it's kind of funny. It's my mind has a mind of its own.
Mhm.
And that just like goes to show what the rest of the song is like. I talk about how much I overthink and stuff. And that, if you know me personally, you know how much I just overthink everything and I'm contradicting my contradictions and like just in this constant battle in my head. So I almost feel like my mind, it kind of has its own like brand. Like I can't even control it myself. So that was like just kind of a play on words that I tried to bring about and describe like how much I'm really like just overthinking everything and I need to, kind of
Yeah.
calm down on that. But yeah.
So you have touched on this a bunch over the past couple of questions, but if you would like to go more in depth, you can. Where is your headspace at while you're writing this album?
I mean, my headspace was pretty much like I said, I was just trying to paint something that and tell a story that, people could find some type of inspiration or healing or just comfort in. Because, growing up, whenever I had any hardship or anything, any struggle, like I always went to my favorite artist for that, like for that boost, like because
Yeah.
they were singing and everything that they were saying, it felt like they were almost like speaking to me. You know what I mean? Like I found a lot of like people like The Weeknd and Post Malone and just like
Taste.
a lot of people. I love The Weeknd. Don't even give me. That could be a whole.
I heard
nother
that influence on there.
Talking about those two, I could do a whole nother episode on that stuff. But really just like trying to be that vessel of like light at the end of the tunnel for other people, just as my favorite artists were for me in my darkest times. I just want to be that for other people. That's my way of trying to make the world a better place. Some people are fighters, like some people are scientists, some people are teachers, and that's their way of making the world a better place. And, mine is just trying to give you something to listen to for a half an hour and make you think about life a little bit. And hopefully it inspires you or it helps you heal from a dark time or anything like that. So I'm just trying to be at the service of others in the form of music.
Oh, it's very wholesome. All right. So you kind of already mentioned two of them, Post Malone and The Weeknd, but while going through this album, what band or artist influences pop out the most to you?
Definitely like we said, like The Weeknd and Post Malone, Don Toliver as well, and like Travis Scott, they kind of go hand
So
in
true.
hand.
Love Travis Scott.
They're very, very similar, and I love them both. Definitely Tame Impala
Okay.
influenced a decent amount of this, at least at the back half of the album.
Yeah.
Who else? Mac Miller, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And the Red Hot Chili Peppers, believe it or not. They're my favorite band ever, like my favorite artist ever since I was a little kid, like 3 years old. So I try to take what I can from all my idols and music and, try to make it something that I could call my own sound. And I'm still working on that, still trying to figure that out. But, that's something that you don't ever really stop that,
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're always trying to work towards the best version of yourself. And the journey is in the destination with that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Very open-minded.
Okay.
Oh, that was quick and that was good.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. We've had actually a couple runs of people just like, okay, give me a second. And it's literally like 5 minutes of them just thinking. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I mean,
that was
Yeah,
great.
it's just kind of like you gotta give me a chance to get the stuff off my chest, and really, I make you think a little bit in the music,
Yeah.
Like it's a story, like I'm trying to paint something. There's a lot of symbolism and stuff like that, and you just gotta, if you're not too open-minded about it, you'll probably just brush across my music and be like, he's just another Post Malone, he's just another this or that, just another pop star trying to make the same shit, this and that. But honestly, like if you look a little deeper into it, you'll see in the lyricism and just some of the production of why I did certain things. And if you can catch it, you can catch it. And that's the people I'm trying to make the music for. People like J. Cole and like Kendrick and stuff like that they don't tell you what they're trying to say right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm no J. Cole or Kendrick. I'm not comparing, but
Yeah.
it's just like that idea of like not giving people what they think they need right away, trying to make them find it a little bit and find the story or the theme or the moral within the music on their own. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I make music for.
Mhm.
I'm trying to make you think a little bit when you listen to it.
Yeah. All right. So kind of in the same vein of the last question, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to invoke in your listeners?
Um, yeah. I mean, not to be like this, but if you're sad, I would definitely want you to go check out my music. Because like, if you're going
Uh-huh.
through a tough time or anything, like that's what the like I said, I'm trying to be at the service of the people through my music. So
Yeah.
if you're ever going through anything at all, no matter how big or small it is, I'm sure you can find a song or one of my projects that could help you out and like just make you think about things a little differently because a lot of us are going through a lot of similar stuff right now. I think at least with the pandemic and everything, like our parents never went through anything like this coming
Mm,
straight out of college, which is I mean, or straight out of high school, which is supposed to be
yeah.
like the real world, like they always tell
Yeah,
you.
you're an adult now.
Absolutely. And I feel like we went into adulthood like just with no
Fucked.
guidance whatsoever in this
Yeah.
pandemic. Even my older brothers never went through anything like this. So it's like
Yeah.
we're all just trying to figure it out on our own. So if I can, all I'm trying to do is be the voice for the voiceless in that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we want to take a small shift away from your music for just a second, and I want you to name one song that you wish you wrote. Any song in the entire universe, you wrote it. It's yours.
See, you're gonna have to give me a second on this.
Of
Okay.
course, of
We
course.
didn't say as fast as possible, so it's okay.
Nah, yeah. Damn. Honestly, any song off After Hours by The Weekend.
So true.
I heard so much After Hours influence on your album.
That was my saving grace through quarantine. That's the only thing that kept me sane. That and making my own project are the two things that kept me sane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like any song off that, if I had to choose one in particular, it would probably be Too Late, which is the second track on that.
Hmm.
It's a really good song. I'm pretty sure that was my most listened to song last year. Either that or the title track. So either one of those songs I wish I wrote. I mean, he's amazing.
I'm gonna have to go listen to that album again. Not
Yeah,
today.
dude.
I'm busy today, but
Busy.
maybe tomorrow.
So where do you see your project in the next 5 years?
I'm not too sure. I'm always just trying to grow, grow past what I did before, and I'm always just trying to get better. So I'm hoping that looking back, as I progress in my career, I hope that people can go back to this project
Hmm.
and see where everything started.
Yeah.
And like this is where I'm trying to really build my fan base is like give you like the story. If you want to be a part of the story, if you want to be a part of the show, as I like to call it, it's like I want you all along on that ride. And like I hope that people look back and see why I started the way that I did with what I started with and how it's progressed. And hopefully, everything, goes well. I mean, I just got to keep working, keep
Yeah.
trying to be the best version of myself as a musician and a person and see where it takes me.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
So for the last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
All right.
Hmm.
I would probably say, this is kind of basic, but I would probably say penne alla vodka just because that's my favorite dish, personally.
Taste.
Probably my mom's, definitely, though. It has to be my mom's penne alla vodka. She has to cook it for me.
Hmm.
And then a drink, I would probably say, I don't know, maybe a gin and tonic or like a glass of wine, honestly.
Solid.
Solid.
All right. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
One fictional world for a week. Probably like Asgard from like Marvel and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
Thor and all that. Either that or Wakanda. Either one of those. I love Marvel,
Wakanda.
so like anything Marvel, probably either Asgard or Wakanda for sure.
Are we talking new Asgard or old Asgard?
Old Asgard.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
No,
That's
old
good.
Asgard for sure.
Yeah.
Sure, like Thor 1, like yeah.
Exactly. Hmm.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we have spoken to have said that it is the most important question.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Baby blue.
Taste.
Solid.
It's a good
I
color.
like it.
Very good color.
So as
Baby blue. It's a great color.
It is. Yeah. It's perfect.
so as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Act 1 Doomsday out now everywhere. If you like it, like and subscribe, follow anything. If you don't like it, hopefully like the next one, we'll hop on the train then.
All right.
But yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
course,
Thank
yeah.
you for sitting with us. It's been Jack DeNicola and Really Good Noise podcast.